We want to take you to New Hampshire now, where Governor Sununu is speaking.
All weekend, I know state officials and local officials were working hard, not just managing through the different aspects of what we've put into place over the past couple of weeks, but also looking at innovative ideas and bringing some solutions to the real front of the table for us. So again, as we're making these decisions, as we're moving forward, we're being responsive to what those individual needs are, really at the grassroots level. We want to thank them. I was on a phone call this morning with all the different mayors. I was on a call this morning with a lot of different House members, all just giving feedback over the past few days in terms of what they're seeing on the ground, maybe some of the issues that we have to still address. These are unprecedented and times that we're going through, and again, we just want to make sure we're being responsive to those individuals. But today's, we want to announce three pretty significant efforts on a variety of different areas. The first being, I want folks to know that today I'll be informing the federal government and the Department of Education specifically that standardized tests will not take place in New Hampshire this semester. And while remote learning has gotten off to an incredible start, we have to continue to have flexibility in our approach to education. And onerous standardized tests from Washington, I think, definitely send the wrong message to New Hampshire families who are already working incredibly hard to adapt to this new learning environment. The New Hampshire Department of Education will continue to work with the College Board to create access for students wanting to take the SATs this summer or in the early fall. And New Hampshire Department of Education will also work with all New Hampshire schools to develop options to help gauge student performance, and will continue to work with teachers, schools, and families to have access to the assessment materials for remote instruction for all of our students. Secondly, in conjunction with the Federal CARES Act that was recently passed, we are increasing benefits for those on unemployment. Granite staters currently drawing from the state's unemployment insurance program will, in most instances, be shifted to the federally funded Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program. And for those on the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, we're increasing the weekly minimum benefit from $32 a week to $168 a week. And then starting next week, we're adding an additional $600 per week per individual to their weekly benefits, all 100% federally funded. We're extending the length of the time a person can receive benefits by 13 weeks for up to 39 weeks, which again will be federally funded here in New Hampshire. It's important to note that those who are already drawing from unemployment insurance will not need to take any new or additional steps. You should just continue to file as you have been through the state channels. This opportunity is really building on the fact that New Hampshire was able to be one of the first states in the country to offer the expanded unemployment insurance benefits, and the fact that the federal government has come in behind us, enhancing those benefits as well, will create an incredible opportunity for those individuals and families around the state. On those same notes, I just want to always extend a big thanks to Employment Security Commissioner George Kapatis, Assistant Commissioner Richard Lavers. They have really been working around the clock. The fact that the federal bill just passed a few days ago in the CARES Act, and that they've been working to help ensure that these benefits can be accessed immediately, as early as today, and just a real testament to them and their team working with the U.S. Department of Labor and all the folks on the ground here in New Hampshire. I also want to address one final point that also kind of goes to the fact that we started this program so early. New Hampshire had the highest increase in unemployment benefits between the time of March 14th to March 21st, anywhere in the country. But again, it was really because we had opened up our unemployment benefits more aggressively than anywhere else in the country, and the fact that the federal government has come in to not just support but enhance those benefits will provide a lot of opportunity for individuals across New Hampshire. Third, we will be announcing later today that the state will be extending the business tax payment deadline to June 15th for approximately 98% of New Hampshire small businesses, as many continue to adapt to these unfortunate new realities of the COVID-19 crisis. The state will also be extending interest and dividends tax payment deadlines to June 15th for, again, approximately 98% of the interest and dividends taxpayers. As was discussed last week, Congress, as we know, passed and the President signed the CARES Act. But as a result of this bipartisan legislation, we have gone through the bill and we have confirmed New Hampshire will be receiving at least $1.25 billion in COVID-19 relief. It's an unprecedented amount of relief for the state of New Hampshire, but given the unprecedented times and the severe needs from families, education, businesses, individuals, there is going to be a need all the way around. So while this is a large amount of money, it is being allocated and dedicated to a variety of different programs throughout the state. Among the highlights, the federal legislation creates the Paycheck Protection Program, where small businesses can get 100% forgivable loans to cover the salaries and benefits of their employees, mortgage interest, rent, and utilities for up to 8 weeks. Again, a real incredible opportunity for a lot of the small businesses out there. There's also support for the Child Care and Development Block Grant, financial support where funds can go towards our daycare initiative that we announced just last week. So a lot of the subsidies and supplements that we provided in our child care and daycare initiatives, again, are going to now be backed by the federal government, which is very exciting. There'll be additional support to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration for mental health and substance use disorders through certified community behavioral clinics. In addition to the $50 million health care relief fund that we set up very early on in this process, the federal legislation will provide additional grants to hospitals and nonprofits and other institutional providers to help cover the unreimbursed health care costs of this COVID-19 crisis. We've started a plan on how to best operationalize all of these different opportunities, and we'll continue to dig into the details so that we truly can better understand what the state allocation will be, what restrictions the federal government may have placed on them, and again, just how best to use these funds for the citizens of New Hampshire. We will, as always, continue to update the public as we explore more opportunities, and knowing that in working with our congressional delegation, this is the third supplemental enhancement dealing with the COVID-19 crisis. There will likely be a fourth, probably in a month or so is what the hope is. And so any of the holes or the gaps in the system that aren't being covered by the current funds, we always will have another shot to go back and work with our partners in a bipartisan way within the federal government to help, again, provide some of these federal funding opportunities to fill those gaps and respond to the citizens of New Hampshire. And lastly today, we want folks to know that we are requesting today our major disaster declaration for New Hampshire from the federal government, and in doing so, it will allow a variety of opportunities, but one in particular, our National Guard to be fully reimbursed by the federal government should we enact Title 32 status to mobilize our state National Guardsmen and women to help respond to the COVID-19 crisis in a lot of the different staffing realms that they potentially could be called up for.